DJ will kick the floor in 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back to Senzo. Back again. It is that time of the night where we have to talk about the case. I'm sure you definitely know what happened. Let me just adjust my seat.
Hi.
Yes, it happened the way it happened. We are here now. But you already have an idea what happened, right?
He's trending. He's finally gotten the attention he wants.
Yeah. He literally called all the lawyers that are black. Useless, in a sense. It's our thing to summarize it for you. Even those who come here to sound clever here, they're useless. That's what the judge said.
Yeah.
At least that's what the judge is insinuating in my...
Yes. That inferiority complex creeped in yesterday. Not today, yesterday. It creeped in again. Yes, it did. And I've been trying to ignore it. We've been trying to ignore it, but
we tried to highlight it.
Yeah, we did try to highlight it briefly, not really sit on it.
You know what?
Not really psychoanalyze him. But we were just like, no, we need to focus on the case. Let us not get distracted, right? So we said whatever we said last week about his inferiority complex. Little did I know that more was still coming from him.
With a brave face. You know what this reminded me, Emil?
What did it remind you of?
It reminded me this incident where I was still at varsity. There was this lady, I've told you the story, and I couldn't put my finger or I couldn't put my mind together why was I lazy to actually date this woman.
Oh, you told me about...
But guess what?
What?
I just, had a call with her. She's practicing actually.
She's in the legal fraternity.
And boy, oh boy, she just proved me right because she agrees with the judge. Like, that's exactly why.
She agrees with the judge when he's being like bombasting like only black lawyers. She agrees.
Oh yes.
Wow, I'm shocked. Is she a black lawyer?
Yes, she is.
Wow.
She is.
Wow.
I was like, wow, okay, that's exactly why. I don't like people who look at my people and think they are people who are better than my people. I don't like those people. I don't care how beautiful you can be, Beyonce. To me, you are useless. Because if you are capable of doing that to learned people, how much more to people who are not learned? You're gonna look down upon those people. Obvious, it's an obvious thing. So I was like, no way. You can be this beautiful, but if your brain thinks like rata, give me it's a 10 off that thing. I'm sorry. He's a learned whatever.
Learned friend, learned colleague, but not our colleague in the legal fraternity.
If your brains are like that, you're a 10 off to me because we are supposed to discuss what is happening in America. You are definitely gonna be off tracking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I think, in a nutshell, it is important to have a person a patriotic person
True.
in your family. You can't bring someone who thinks like this within your family.
True.
You can't.
I'm just worried because I'm also seeing that I'm at 2000. There's also some of them who are now having YouTube channels with these inferiority complexes. And I know they want to make money, but it's worrying, guys. It's worrying. It's worrying when people are just going to make a living off of bashing their own people. It's actually embarrassing.
It's not an issue. But you, as a normal person, you should distance yourself from such. Mina even emsebenzini mengenga ngakuzwa nje ukhuluma a certain way.
Like you want to be praised
For
thinking that black people are incapable, black people can't do anything, like you just want to rise by demeaning black people. You want to be above them. You don't want to be in the midst. And honestly, it's also weird because you are the instigator, right? You are the one provoking certain reactions out of people just for the fun of it. And then when they react,
you want to
now use race and just start talking about.
In fact, the comments that were made yesterday by the judge, I can't believe I'm saying this. They were racist.
They
comments.
were.
Very racist.
He hates black people allegedly, or that's what we are.
That's what we are thinking. He also said it's his opinion. He also said, and I go back again. These are the people who are saying they fought for this constitution, right? Then, what is that constitution? If they are thinking like this, if they are like this,
no wonder why things are the way that they are. No wonder why the legal system is the way that it is. Because honestly, it feels like it was designed to put people of a certain color in prison only. That's what it looks like. Right. And then on top of everything else, I'm actually worried about the PAC people that he said he represented during pre-1994. I'm worried. If he has this inferiority complex, those who went to Hangpal being represented by him.
Ingako, I don't believe in it. And I might be here, but I don't believe in this thing. No, don't come and tell me about this thing. Because I see it every day, day in and day out, being used against us. And then you come and tell me, you brag about that, which you were part of the people who fought for 1, 2, 3. Now I look at you.
It's more like maybe there was a fight to keep oppressing a certain race. And it's so sad to see that people that we regarded to a certain standard, especially in my younger days when I was still admiring such people because of the positions that they held. And then now that I'm at the age that I'm at and I'm hearing words like this being spewed, it's like, wow.
In a public platform,
wow.
You've got guts to show us. This last time you apologized.
Yes,
okay.
And I thought we've moved past that. You will never utter these words again. But I couldn't move past it
because, there's a case where you had to explain yourself why you were acting the
way that he was acting, and he said that it was because of apartheid.
Now
what's the excuse?
He's doing it now.
Again. Yeah. This thing that he did it in a case in 2008. I just forgot which case it was. And now he did it again last year. And now he's doing it again. How?
So he was not apologetic. He meant what he said.
He means it. He means it. He has a deep inferiority complex and he really, really is an Uncle Tom. He even said it. I don't care if you guys call me an Uncle Tom. When people tell you who they are, believe them. He is an Uncle Tom. And it's not nice to see.
And if if you find yourself in that side, defending that side, you must ask yourself a big question. Also, are you not an Uncle Tom too? Because they know how to see each other.
And social media is revealing a lot of them.
Believe those people when you see them.
Believe them and run away. Don't share your thoughts, don't share your ideas, don't talk to those people. They're very dangerous. They're dangerous people. Don't find yourself engaging with them in politics or anything deep like that. They will get you in trouble. They will burn you. Yes, I know what I'm talking about. So, but it's quite disappointing to see coming from a man who has lived two different eras, right? And some reason there's this fantasy that all of them have about Uncle Tom, that the government of pre-1994 had no corruption. Your oppression was the corruption. The fact that you didn't have electricity, you didn't have roads, you didn't have...
The fact that you couldn't judge against them was a crime on its own. How many cases did you judge and find them guilty?
When people say that, I just become like, my jaw just drops. When you say that during pre-1994 there was no corruption, I'm like, your very existence was a crime. And you are defending up. Yo, guys, let me go through the proceedings that happened today, okay? Or yesterday. Let me take a deep breath. But yeah, we need to speak the truth. The time has come. No more nesting bo Uncle Tom, libo people who have inferiority complexes against their people. It's enough now. This is not funny anymore. It's enough. We have to speak the truth. You guys are delusional, okay?
And you're projecting that to us. That's a problem.
And you're recruiting. You're trying to recruit.
You are including us. You speak for us.
And you're confusing young people.
Speak against you, Moses,
no, we
that.
have to, because this is not even funny anymore. There are young children who are raised and who are growing up, and hearing a judge who's presided on cases for over 40-something years speak like that. What is a young black child supposed to say?
And you
think?
Can imagine the perception that this judge has already about this accused.
Yes.
You already think that black people are just useless. They're messing up the system. They're doing all this. You've been having these comments.
Yeah.
And then you are given a chance to put 5 of them in jail. Are you going to wait? Are you going to listen, observe, and be unbiased?
No.
How are you going to do that?
No, the biasness is out of the window. I think we've reached a point where we can all come to a realization that the judge is no longer performing his duties to a way that
that's why bamcasula nabantu ababadefendayo bamcasula.
Yes, they make him angry. It's because he's already made up his mind, so it seems, and every time the defense are now doing their jobs, they are interrupting what he has already
and in fact what
together.
He's saying is consistent with him believing that the police are saint, because during those days it was believed that the police are saint. Whatever the police are saying is true.
There was someone who did a very interesting video on TikTok. A young man. I just forgot the handle and everything, but I saw it sometime last week, and he was speaking about how now we we feel like the law is not working for us, right? Especially when it comes to the issue of women, and what is currently happening with women being under attack and stuff. And then when someone has violated you in some way, and then after 2 weeks you see them walk out and they say they were released, either on bail or they were just released. That young man articulated as to how the actual fact that laws did not really change. And you have to think that pre-1994, the laws were designed to protect the people that were oppressing people of a black race.
They were designed to protect the people that were doing the wrong.
Yes.
Let us put it like that.
Yes.
And they never changed from that.
No, they never changed.
So that's why people can create cases, some of them. That's why people can do whatever they want. Those who understand the system, those who are in the police, for example, system, who wants to do crime, they can do crime because the laws was protecting those police at the time.
Yes.
And it still protects the very same one now. Just that now it has now also changed, or it is now inclusive in terms of the people that it protects. But as long as you understand and you wear a uniform, you are able to get away with a lot of crime. That's what the man maybe was trying to say. It never changed anything.
Nothing really changed except for now we are
Part
inclusive, yes.
But
the laws never really changed.
So there are those ones who look at themselves as superior when they wear this uniform and they use it to oppress others.
And I'm like, oh my God, what a brilliant analysis. Because when you look at it, actually, it is true. The only thing that was added was the Constitution and other laws, maybe of Hangpal being taken away. But nothing really changed when it came to the law that was drafted during those times. So now we are in this situation where we are living with the legacy of those laws that we were not a part of when they were made, or the people that came before us were not a part of when they were being made. Court proceedings started with Ramasipila addressing the issue of decorum. He told the court that what happened yesterday prompted him to do some research, and he's learned quite a lot, including how to address the accused, witness, and court officials. He said that he'd never refer to the accused, for example, as accused 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. He'd rather refer to them as Mr. Sibia, Mr. Ntanzi, Mr. Mngube, and so on and so forth. So the judge admitted that he had also faltered in the past. Sometimes he called them the accused. No, actually, he calls them the accused all the time. He said that he acknowledged his role and he must defend Mr. Ntanzi with a zeal. He must defend him with his blood, to Ramasipil is what he was saying. And in doing so, he must do it with decorum and within the confines of respect to Gininda. And Advocate Baloyin, everybody, he included them that they must be addressed with decorum and respect. Ramasipil said that he went to do some research and came across 2 case laws that are pertinent to the issue, and one of the cases that he read out was Sianda Fortune Mkhize versus the state. Sianda Fortune Mkhize and others versus the state. He said that it's the most critical than Goliath and Chicory matter, and the judge dealt with the principles that were done by the Chief Justice P.S. Langa in that case and the conduct of court officials. He wanted to quote from it, but the judge asked that he make copies available for them to read. They can read them, the judgment themselves. And Ramasipili said, but at the end of the day, what he wanted to say is that they also, all of them here, including Advocate MNISI, endeavor to conduct themselves with the utmost decorum to the court. And if things spill over, today, they can come and say that they are sorry to the court, to Brigadier Gininda, to the public out there. And the judge said that he appreciated that. To me, I had a problem with it because it sounded like he was being an apologist of some sort and trying to, and diffuse the situation. Or Ramasipili would be the kind of person that will apologize even though he did not do anything wrong. And he doesn't understand that this enables people like Borata, it enables them. It doesn't make them
he did not see anything wrong that he did.
No.
And he's never gonna see it because you have become a bigger person, as they normally say, and apologized. To him, it sounds like you were on the wrong.
You are accepting
and you
accountability.
have given him the power of being superior to you.
Yes.
In this case, and I believe also in trying to mitigate it.
Yeah. Sometimes you compromise. You're like, let me be the bigger person.
But there are places.
When it comes to
there are places. I can tell you for free. I don't think in that court it is advisable for you to do that. It is not the platform that is advisable. That's why I'm told. It is not advisable because know what happens after that. Immediately, if you have noticed, after you apologized or you withdraw or whatnot that it was required for you to do, then Uber on steroids.
Yeah.
Ungena kakhulu ke lapho uzo interferisha kakhulu ke lapho ke with what we are saying and how it is good to have this environment in that court.
Yes.
Because I believe it favors more the accused. I believe that environment is more healthier than the normal environment where everything goes according to the book. Because those people there, when that happens, I almost feel like they're not represented.
Yes.
Because now you are making jokes, it's all good and funny.
You're trying to level the playing field. You're trying to be an apologist. You're trying to be the bigger person. It doesn't work. It doesn't work with people that have reached the level that the judge has reached. It doesn't work. In fact, it feeds into the delusion that they've created themselves of not wanting to be held accountable. So the more you are like, let me just create peace and what, and you are feeding that. You are making them even more and more and more arrogant. And then the bullying becomes worse, in my opinion. That has been my experience because I'm also like that, Mr. Anonymous. I'm that person who likes to say, okay, fine, I'm wrong. You understand? For peace sake. But then I know that there are certain individuals I will never do that with. I learned my lesson and I learned the hard way. You end up being the only one that's wrong. You get blamed for things that you didn't do. So yes, I feel like no, this should stop. So the judge said that some counsels refused to call Colonel Steyn at some point. He was now twisting it because, that's not how I remembered it. Now the judge was accusing also the late Mr. Mgomezulu of refusing to call Steyn Mr. Steyn. At the time, Steyn was retired, was he not?
Yeah, it was retired.
He was retired. So they were struggling to recall whether he was a colonel or a lieutenant or whatever. And I remember they even said it to him. They put the disclaimer to him. And I don't remember Steyn protesting it at the time. He didn't mind being referred to as Mr. Steyn, but somehow the judge took offense on his behalf, and he was saying that now they were telling him that titles, and I just felt some type of way about this because I'm like, Mgomezulu is not even here to speak for himself in this court. Why are you bringing him up and I'm like, I just found it so distasteful. He said that they opted to address Steyn as Mr. Steyn because they kept, not knowing his rank and getting it, confused. They asked Steyn, and I also remember it that they asked Steyn, whether they can address him as Mr. Steyn. No, man. He said that Mgomezulu told him to go to hell and that he made... And I'm like, but Mgomezulu, do you think Mgomezulu would have survived if he told the judge to go to hell?
No.
And then he also repeated the sentiments about black counsels and attorneys. Now he went on a whole rant. He continued to read a message that he received from the register on his phone.
And there's one channel that is really protecting him. Yeah, this channel.
Hey.
This channel. Can't believe I'm paying for
the mainstream one.
Yeah.
And
okay, you know what? You know what? At some point, I think MultiChoice, they need to give us an option of choosing all the channels that you want.
Yeah, once. Because
sometimes
we are subjected to...
You pay for that. They should just put a price on each and every channel, and then you consolidate whatever you chosen. It's like choosing modules at school. Whatever you chosen, this
pay
is the
for
price
what you want to watch.
On the basis of the price that we put in each and every channel.
This thing
of giving us everything. Because right now I'm thinking of even just discontinuing it. There's no football.
Entire thing, because you just feel like manje since you are malana and you're like,
I'm paying for that nonsense, bruh. Like, you hear someone who's biased on the mainstream media.
Why, Mr. Journalist, are you going to be asking this question this way?
We are feeding the very same people, and that's what pisses me off. We're feeding those people for them to get paid.
And it's a pattern. They keep doing it. They keep doing it. It's like...
to go and defend a certain narrative. It's nonsense.
I miss the days when journalists just gave us the news.
I mean, SABC is for free. You don't pay for it, but you have... okay, we maybe might be paying for it through the tax thing, but I prefer Griselda.
And there's also this other one that I don't think we talk much about him as well. It's Mangoba.
Mangoba, yeah.
Mangoba is also very objective. He just delivers what happened in court. And that's what I want to see. This thing of driving a narrative. Sometimes I listen to the reporter who was sitting in the studio and I wondered to myself, why would you ask this question this way? Especially when they were asking concerning the judge.
They are driving... I can't believe you called the whole LPC to come and clarify the issue of dam. But you are still asking a question later about that word to someone else. They clarified you that there's nothing wrong with that.
And he still wanted MNISI to be perceived as a person who did something that was out of order. And I'm like, but... this guy just said to you that there was nothing wrong with how he used the word in the context that he used it. So now, why are you going back to us? Oh my God.
I'm cancelling.
These people lying.
While I'm cancelling,
what is going on?
I will be hunting for football channel, because that's the only reason why I'm really paying for that thing. I just, even if they were checking how many times I go, because I have Netflix. I can hop around, move around with that money. If I'm tired of Netflix, I move to something else, get movies, get series, get whatever that I want.
And I would think that maybe he was done. No, there's also another one that he did with Dalimpov. On that one, still. Oh my God.
Still driving a certain narrative. And we're paying for that.
No ways.
But I'm not going to call names. I don't want to call names of the channels. I don't want to get sued, but it's rubbish.
No, but we are going through a lot. This is honestly insane. Like, we are going through a lot. We've been holding our tongues all these years. It's just well, the judge continued to read a message that he received from the register on his phone. I just want to take this moment to say that Rose, wherever she is, Rose, Ella, who still remembers Rose? Wherever Rose is, I hope she's doing well. Because now the new registrar is a lady of no color. I saw the respect, way she's being addressed. And I'm like, oh my God, Rose was being called like a puppy. Yeah. Well, the court register received the message yesterday from Advocate MNISI, and Advocate MNISI was asking for leave of absence on Monday because he said that he'll be running the Comrades Marathon on Sunday, and on Monday he will need to be driving back. The Comrades Marathon, for those who may not know, it's happening, I think it's in Pietermaritzburg if I'm not mistaken. It's been so many
It depends on where it starts.
Yeah.
It's either starting from Pietermaritzburg, or going the other way around.
or going there, but it's usually like you run a distance of about 80 kilometers, and it takes the whole day from like 5 a.m. up until maybe some people even finish like at 10 o'clock at night. Some people don't even finish at all. It's a very long marathon, you understand? So if he's going to be running on Sunday, the chances are he's not going to make it on Monday to court because he will need to drive back, and he can't just finish a whole marathon, 80 kilometers, and then be expected to hop in and drive back home. Yeah, or even travel a long distance to come back home. His body will need a few moments to recover, and then he can come back. So that's why he's asking for the leave, in my opinion. I don't know anybody who would finish a Comrades Marathon and be expected to show up. I don't know, you know. And this, honestly, it was like a personal matter in my own opinion. I didn't see the reason of why it needed to be published in court like that, in public view like that. There's a reason why Advocate MNISI sent an email. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I was like, imagine every time, just imagine this scenario that in your workplace you are asking for leave, and then your manager just decides to tell everyone in the office the reason why you are asking for leave. That's what it felt like, you know. And I also got traumatized again from the time that Mngomezulu would also be denied leave while he was sick and gravely ill. So the judge had a problem with MNISI not writing to him directly, but writing to him through the court registrar, you know, and he was complaining about it. It seemed like he wanted MNISI to write to him directly and not address the court registrar. Well, he asked Nxumalo, and Nxumalo said that he didn't want to comment when the judge asked him if it's something that he would do. And surprisingly, Nxumalo was saying that he would never do that, but they've done it. He's not shown up and attended another matter, you know, and now you're saying you wouldn't do something. Like, what is going on? What is going on? Ramasipil, on the other hand, said
Nxumalo, in his defense, he didn't want to be thrown into this.
Yeah.
Because he knew he was conflicted as a person. That's why he said, no, I wouldn't do that. In a sense, he's saying, that will not happen to me. It's fine. Let me be.
Okay.
You know, there's nothing wrong with what he was doing. He was clear from the word go. I don't want to say anything.
I don't want to comment. Well, Ramasipili said that perhaps MNISI was still going to address the court, but his understanding is that proper procedure is via the register, you know. And also, I just looked at the judge, and he was not even looking in MNISI's direction. He was not even addressing MNISI. It was so weird, right? And in my opinion, it's obvious that the judge has not learned his lesson with how he treated Mngomezulu. I mean, when you don't learn anything from an experience, you are bound to do it again. And this right now is starting to feel very much intentional. We cannot even call it a mistake anymore, right? So the judge said that he will not respond, and if Mr. MNISI doesn't want to come to court on Monday, that's his business. Yeah, now he will be in court, and the JP expects him to be in court. And he said that he can't tell the JP that somebody's going to run a marathon, so the case should just stop and everybody should just go and watch the marathon. How rude. How rude. And another thing that I also had a problem with, Mr. Anonymous, the fact that not everybody knew that he was going to be running the marathon. And now he just put him on blast like that. So for the weekend, people know where MNISI is going to be. That doesn't feel right. You know, it's not right. I don't know how he feels when he does stuff like this. I'm like, now his safety is also even compromised on top of that. You don't know how he lives his life. You don't know the enemies that he has. And now you just let everybody know, the whole country know exactly where he's going to be on Sunday. How? Yeah, but one thing I can say is commentary leaving from this situation is that whatever MNISI did, it was powerful. And this is the reaction that it is getting. It is the reaction, Mr. Anonymous.
Let's continue.
Yeah. So yes, another question also that we're going to move to is when MNISI now started with his cross-examination. And when he started with his cross-examination, he moved on. He didn't even address the judge. He just continued with his job, addressing Brigadier Kininda. He said, you said that accused number 1 said that the firearm in his confession that they allegedly used was sold to Mthobisi's Tole. And you said that Mthobisi's accused number 3. Kininda said that the name of Mthobisi is the name of accused number 3. MNISI then asked him, what were you trying to convey here? And Kininda said that as much as he was misleading accused number 1 in his confession, but he was also closer to the truth. You know, it's kind of weird. It's murky waters, because why are you taking a confession from a misleading person? You're already detecting the lies, but you still continue and you bring that confession to court. But anyway, he continued to say that he was also closer to the truth because the alibi that they followed was discovered that the person that they discovered is the wrong alibi. He said it was actually Mdudeni and not Mthobisi's Tole. And he said they also obtained a statement from his father, a death certificate. As much as some of the information was misleading, for example, the mentioning of Marco and Makimbi, but somewhere there was truth, according to Brigadier Kininda. And the name of Mthobisi, which they did not know, was the surname, is the name of accused number 3. And indeed, through the investigation, the firearm that was used for the offense was associated with accused number 3. So MNISI then asked him, we are agreeing that it's a known fact that accused number 3 is Mthobisi Mncube and not Mthobisi's Tole. Is that not so? And Kininda said, yes, we do agree. MNISI then asked him, yesterday we were at Vosloorus on the 5th of June 2020, and the place where accused number 1 says he was allegedly driven by Mohani, Ngamani and Bongani from Valeria, who were escorted by the Metro Cops, whereby he got assaulted. After the assault, the accused then said that he was driven to Alberton by the same Mohani, Ngamani and Bongani, and they were using the same Qashqai, and they were still being escorted by the normal traffic cops. So in Alberton, he was booked into cells. Then the police came and took him out, and they took him to a gentleman who was waiting in the office. So this, he said, he supposes was the commencement of the so-called pointing out. And he said that from Alberton to the place where he was made to point or do a point out or to point at certain things, they were then escorted by the members of TRT. MNISI said that he didn't know what this TRT was, so he actually had to go back to accused number 1 and ask him what he meant by this. So upon his return, and also the judge seemed irritated when MNISI was trying to go and ask accused number 1 about what TRT is. When he came back, though, he said that accused number 1 says that indeed from Alberton to Vosloorus, where he was made to point certain points, they then got escorted by members of the TRT. And he said that when he asked him what these members of the TRT, he said that they are a specialized unit from the South African Police Service, because these were not from Ekurhuleni. Metro Police or anywhere else. He said that there were other people as well. He says all that he remembered is that it was an environment. So Gininda said that he was not at the police station or the parking. Gininda said that the municipality building is not the same place where accused number 1 is saying that the place is at. He said that you would have to drive out, turn right, and then he spoke about passing by something and then enter a police station. So he's saying that the municipality building that accused number 1 is talking about and the police station are two separate buildings. And the police station is a standalone building. That's what he said, Brigadier Gininda. And he said that he was not there when he was moved from Valeria to Albertine. He said that he did not get a briefing that he was taken to Vosloorus at some stage. He said that according to the OB entries, there's no way where he said that he was booked in or out with injuries. You know, sometimes I forget that these OB entries were actually not made by the people that work at the police station that are supposed to receive the people that are being... The way he speaks, sometimes I forget that. I forget that actually Mohani is the one who was writing or making those entries on the OB, and Hadebe is the one who made the... I forget that there's actually someone who's stationed at police stations to be receiving the people that are arrested. You understand what I'm saying? So MNISI then asked him, so the report that you got from Mohani was that Mohani never spoke of them having gone to Vosloorus. Is that not so? And Gininda said that that's correct. Gininda said that he told Mohani to be hasty with Colonel Hadebe because he gave him Colonel Hadebe's numbers, and he also gave Colonel Hadebe Mohani's numbers so that they would be able to communicate amongst each other. MNISI then asked him, so what you got from Mohani was that Mohani fully complied with the instructions that you gave him, and Gininda said yes, it's correct and it is supported by the occurrence book. He really likes the occurrence book.
As if it's not editable, as if it's not...
It cannot be tampered with. It cannot be created.
It cannot be
he loves this occurrence books. And also, I remember with Kretcher's case is that the occurrence book entry, you know, that made the confessions to be inadmissible came from, you know, the defense. That occurrence book, yeah, something was learned there, allegedly. MNISI then said, you'd recall yesterday that you said that I'll go and have a relook at my notes and come up with something that is on record.
So far, I did that. Like 3 cases that I know that Gininda has worked on.
And there were confessions.
And there was a confession. That is including that one with Mboto.
The one that MNISI mentioned.
That MNISI mentioned. This one. Even the one of...
Rodovan Kretcher. Desai Lupondo. That's the one.
The very decisive man.
He said, I did that, and this was in relation to who would have arranged the photographer that was utilized when the pointings out of Mr. Sibi and the presence of Colonel Hadebe was done. He said he diligently did that. MNISI went to the proceedings of the 28th of November 2023, which was from the trial within a trial, and he read what Gininda told the court, and Gininda said that Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe was not privy to these investigations. He was never a part of it before, and he never worked with him. He simply provided him with the case number and also made necessary arrangements for the photographer to be present on that day of the pointing out. That Sergeant Mohani would be the one engaging him insofar as the movements of the accused to Albertine Police Station, and he said that he communicated such to both of them. MNISI told Gininda that he'd recall yesterday that he said that he did not want to go on with this if he hadn't made assurances that he was sure. Now, at the time, he stood up and provided evidence from Mr. Mapakela's testimony. Then he said that he will bring what he was talking about. This is just the conclusion of what he said that he will do. Gininda said that he did not arrange the communication and the movement of the photographer. MNISI asked him, are you suggesting that Lieutenant Hadebe would not have known which office to contact? Gininda said, no, that is how it's done. MNISI now read what Colonel Mboto testified on the 13th of October 2023 during cross-examination by Mr. Ramasipili. This is a part where Ramasipili asked Brigadier Gininda. He said, when Colonel Mboto, when Brigadier Gininda asked you to assist with taking down of the statement, was it for the first time that you heard of such a request coming from him? Mboto said specifically from him to take a call and call me, it was for the first time. So here Mboto was saying that it was for the first time that Brigadier Gininda had called him and made such a request for him to go and take a confession out of an accused. Then Ramasipili asked him, did you know Gininda before as a person? And Mboto said that he had knew him or known Brigadier Gininda as a police officer. Gininda said that he did indicate that he knew him as well, and he knew him as a branch commander in Cleveland. MNISI said that he noted that he is not commenting about Mboto, saying that he never worked with him before. Gininda confirmed that he had never worked with him before, and that is his position. So on the 22nd of January 2024, he confirmed what he said under cross-examination by Mr. Mgomezulu, where he put it to him, and you say you did not work with Colonel Mboto, am I correct? And Gininda's answer was, I've never worked with him, and he was not privy to the investigation. So Gininda said that indeed the only person he knew was Colonel Rapadu. That was the first time he spoke to him when he assisted him, and it was the first time that he met him when he fetched the confession from him. So insofar as Mboto, that has been his position, meaning that he never worked with Mboto before. Now MNISI asked him, is it correct that you also did some cases that were reported around Meadowlands and Cleveland around 2014? Gininda asked for specifics in terms of case numbers because he did a lot of cases. MNISI gave him the case number of 26712 of 2013. Gininda said that he recalled that case, and MNISI said that he would not be getting into the merits of the case. And he asked him, do you agree that you were an investigating officer on that case? Gininda said no, it was not a single case. The case came as a result of the disciplinary task team that was assembled by the then General Pierre, who was the national commissioner. And he said that he was part of the investigators. So MNISI now asked him, being part of the team of investigators, is it correct that in the investigation of that case, one of the accused in that case ended up making a confession before Colonel Mboto? Gininda said that's correct. Gininda said he was not certain whether it was in 2014 or 2015. MNISI then said the confession that Colonel Mboto took from the accused was on the 30th of May 2020. And this is almost 7 or 6 years after you had worked with Mboto in another case. When Mboto took a confession, where you were also the investigating officer. Gininda said that it was not accurate. He said he did not work with Colonel Mboto until he retired. All the way up until he retired, because Colonel Mboto, it seems he's retired now. He said it was a multidisciplinary task team that was coordinated by the National Commissioner. He said it consisted of the National Deputy Commissioner, Generals and Brigadiers and Crime Intelligence. He said he was just one of the investigators. He worked with Ria Pierre, then he worked with General Kethlastol. He's been with the national commissioners. He's been there. He's been working alongside national commissioners. This is 2013. And he said that he was just one of the investigators. He said that confession came as a result of management that was made by the late General Ndlovu. He was part of the provincial office, and he is the one that made contact with Colonel Mboto, according to Brigadier Gininda.
Yet he doesn't know Mboto. He has never worked with Mboto, I mean.
You know, he basically said that the arrangements for that confession were made through SAP's provincial office. He took himself out of making arrangements for that confession to be made while he was the investigator of that case. Yes. Now I have a question, Mr. Anonymous. He's talking about Brigadier Ndlovu. Which Brigadier Ndlovu is he talking about?
I guess it's the same one who passed away, and the wife passed away also.
MNISI then said, you also recall that I said that I would come back to the affidavits that you arranged from the people you received warning statements from. He read the affidavit from Grafreniet and Dagama Scope. He said that it was written in a very fine print, and he said he would not put the name of the deponent because it is his former colleague when he was still working in the government. That's MNISI. Remember, he was a state prosecutor at some point in his past. So at that point, it was around 17 minutes past 11, and the judge said that they should adjourn until 11:30. And when they came back, Advocate MNISI read out that affidavit that was filed by one of the officers in relation to the warning statements that were previously requested. He said that he'll be using them to argue at a later stage. He started reading, but then in the middle of reading, he now offered to the judge that he let him have a copy. The judge now was speaking about how now he's being told that this deponent cannot be called onto the court, and he wants the entire statement to be read. Hey. Well, MNISI read it, but I'm gonna pick the part that I saw or felt was important, and it started from paragraph, I think it's 3 or 4, where it says, I'm a group leader at Grafreniet Detective Unit, and as such, I oversee all the daily tasks and duties of the detectives under my command. One of my duties is to ensure continuity and to ensure that dockets sent to courts are done so in a proper and legal manner, right? So, and the court must accept an affidavit which is nameless, which are some of the comments that the judge was making, just to encourage Advocate MNISI to read the entire thing. And then Advocate MNISI now started reading the ID of the person, the cell phone number, everything was just put on record like it is. He didn't want any more drama. He started reading it from scratch. But then he continued and he said, this includes ensuring that documents we use are approved by the SAPS management as well as are acceptable to the members of the Justice Department. We are presently using an adapted warning statement and it is widely accepted in our district. Now, the interesting part here in this affidavit, it says that the document at our regional court at the time of introducing the updated warning statement, Mr. D. Burgess had approached us with concerns regarding shortcomings in the warning statements we were using. He stated that it did not conform to Section 35 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. A short while later, we received the present warning statement from his office. In conjunction with myself, we managed to compress the contents into the present 3-page document, which encompasses all the requests of the court. Each police station had previously used a standard warning statement, which was in both English and Afrikaans, but this one did not conform, so we discontinued the use of that one and opted for the new revised one, which is only presented in English as per national instruction. So then he attached the copies of that. Now, the commissioner of the statement, MNISI, said that he couldn't see who it was. It was very faint. And MNISI asked also for the indulgence from Mr. Sibia before concluding his cross-examination. He asked for the response regarding the AVL that they requested, as well as the arrangements for the inspection in loco of the area where Mr. Sibia was taken to and allegedly assaulted. So MNISI's cross-examination was done. And do you think that MNISI should go and run his comrades marathon? It's just a question that I'm asking, family. Must he go or not?
I don't know.
Advocate Baloyi started with his re-examination now with the entries of Brigadier Gininda's diary for the 30th and 31st of May 2020. Baloyi said to Brigadier Gininda, you testified that you made these entries as the events unfolded, and Gininda said that that was correct. Baloyi said you were questioned about the events of the 5th of June 2020 regarding the events of the pointings out. You testified that you documented those events, and Gininda said that that is correct insofar as the arrangements are concerned. So Baloyi asked him to put all the entries on record from the 30th of May. Now this diary, I feel, in my opinion, is being shoved in our throats as if it's a warning statement. This diary now is replacing what is supposed to be there. And Gininda then said in the entry of the 30th, Gininda's diary indicated that he was informed of suspect Moses Bia's arrest. He said that suspect implicated himself after he was warned of his rights. He went to interview him at around 1900 hours on 0010. This is in the morning now.
It's the first time seeing someone failing to read his handwriting.
And the prosecutor is the one who
And
can see
and Baloyi
what is being written.
really understands that handwriting for my liking.
So, in the morning of the 31st, Colonel Mboto said to Brigadier Gininda that he was done and that he should come and get the confession from him. So, directly. And he says that 1:30 he was off duty. That's what's written on the diary. And the interpreter said that he was struggling to see the handwriting. Okay. Let's note that as well. Brigadier Gininda is struggling to see his own handwriting, and the interpreter is saying, I'm struggling to see this handwriting. And then the prosecutor can see the handwriting, right? So on the 31st, 11:30, duty on, departure to Eraton. 1950, she got very sharp eyesight. Interview a witch doctor that is suspected of cleansing the killers of Senzo Meyiwa. The witch doctor by the name of Lionel Zwani confirmed that indeed he was approached by some boys of Buthelezi surname.
That's
Buthelezi brothers now.
That's very
are in the diary.
That's very scary because this case is a mess, Buffett. When we say this case is a mess, people don't believe it. Accused number 1 talks about the Buthelezi brothers. Ikehla talks about the Buthelezi brothers.
But the Ikehla did not talk about them in court while he was testifying.
But he wrote the Buthelezi brothers.
Gininda is the one who wrote it in his diary.
Now that's a question. Would Ubano introduce? I don't think they picked that one up. Who introduced the Buthelezi brothers? The mistakes we are making are about Buthelezi brothers. Ndanzi said he was called Buthelezi.
Yes, when he was getting
arrested.
At Puking.
And then you tell me, Kampela, you are still Guru Usifufu ne?
And he said that they requested that a cleansing be done. Baloyi corrected him and said for the job to be done. He was correcting him on his own handwriting. Gininda was like, my apologies, I'm missing my handwriting, my lord. And I'm like,
yeah, Georgia. Hey, what you did?
Baloyi corrected Gininda. They came to tell him the owner of the handwriting could not read their own handwriting. The prosecutor is the one who was able to
read their handwriting. And one thing for sure, subsequently, when it comes to reading, there's room for improvement.
Yeah, it seems like that's not a strong department. He speaks faster, he reads slow. So the statement taken by Colonel Motlami, DP from DPCI, this is crime intelligence, right? The 1st of June 2020, 1:30 duty off. 5th of June 2020, morning meeting at NATCOM. This is the National Commissioner's Office in Pretoria. And then now, another interesting part about this diary, right? But before I get into it, here it says that it was written, inform Sergeant Mohani to take suspects via to Albertine SAPS for pointing out where he'll be contacted by Colonel Hadeb. He said the entries for the 6th of June were written by his colleague, Sergeant Mogola. So Sergeant Mogola writes in the diary of Brigadier Gininda now. And she's documenting.
But remember, the diary is not an issue. It's not like a formal thing. Maybe it's under Mfundis.
But here's the confusing part. These people want to say that Mfundisi was investigating for the substances case.
Yeah.
And Brigadier Gininda was there for the Senzo case.
Yes.
And now, this intertwinement of now they're going to KZN together. Kanti.
It's a cold case thing.
Kanti. Like now, Brigadier Gininda is going with Mfundisi to go to KZN to verify the address of accused number 1. And all of this is coming out in the diary. Sergeant Mogola did not even say or mention anything about going to KZN to verify an address in her testimony. Whew. This is a mess, guys. So at 1800 hours, they arrived at Ulundi Mahlabatini. Gininda said that the purpose of the trip was when Mr. Sibia made an indication that he will bring forth a bail application on the illegal substance dealing case. Now they are saying that Mr. Sibia is the one who made an indication to them that he's going to be applying for bail.
Anything is possible.
And he didn't want a lawyer.
He was testifying. He was confessing.
So he's confessing and he indicates that I want bail.
That's very funny. You are confessing to something that might arrest you. I think that section something for working with the states was still in play, isn't it?
It's section 105. They mentioned it, making a plea bucket. But then they were speaking of it in reference to accused number 2, were they not?
I don't know.
This is some weird stuff going on here. I just was in disbelief going through this re-examination. So 23:30 departure to Johannesburg, and they arrived at 6:30 in Johannesburg. So they continued with the investigation as per Tembisa case 217. Then duty off was at 11. Baloyi then asked him, you testified that this interaction with accused number 1 was at the parking area of the police station and it happened at the back of a red Golf that was driven by Sergeant Mogola. After the introductions, you read him his rights and informed him that you had reasons to believe he was involved in the death of Senzo Meyiwa. And then Gininda said, yes, the proper sequence is that he asked the members to excuse him. Then he read him his rights before informing him that he had reasons to believe that he was involved in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. Baloyi then said to him, you testified that the accused implicated himself, and Gininda said correct. Baloyi then asked, does the contents of the confession and what he told you correlate? Gininda said yes. The difference is that he goes into detail in the confession statement. So Advocate Baloyi now referred Brigadier Gininda to the proceedings of the 22nd of January 2024. Baloyi asked Gininda to put on record what the late Tulani Mgomezulu put to him, and Gininda Gininda said that at Fosloras on the 30th of May, whatever he said to you was an informal process, and to legitimize it, you had to get someone else. Do you agree? I then said, I agree. So Baloyi asked him, was it ever put to you by Mr. Mgomezulu that this interaction was accused number one took place at a secluded spot? Gininda said, no, I have no recollection of that. Then Baloyi asked him, did you ever say that this conversation happened in an unusual place? Gininda said, no, he never said that. So Baloyi then said, regarding the SWAT team now, Gininda said they function under the police, but they are a team under Ekurhuleni Metro Police within the EMPD. They're an elite, highly trained unit. Same within the SAPS. He says that they have a special task force in the SAPS. And SWAT, they are part of EMPD, not necessarily SAPS, but they have the same power as them in the SAPS in terms of execution of their duties. He said that there was a memorandum between him or them as the SAPS in terms of the other matters. Gininda confirmed that he deployed them because of their tactical skills. Baloyi asked him, why were they deployed in this particular case? Why did you enlist their services? And Gininda said that it was safety, protection, and escort, because it became clear that the environment that they had to go to was dangerous. So it was a dangerous place, and they had the skills that should such arise to provide such security. So here, in my opinion, it sounded like they were there to protect them. They were there to be some form of their bodyguards as they were arresting Mr. Sibia and Tanzi, in my opinion, of course. Then Gininda said Constable Maphumulo was there to assist Constable Monareng, because now they were asking him about Maphumulo, and he was saying that Maphumulo was back up to Constable Monareng, and he said that at the trial, within a trial, he did not even remember who Maphumulo was. So after the long adjournment, on the part of accused number one being transported with a Ford Ranger to Diepkloof now, Baloyi made Gininda read what Mgomezulu examined versus what MNISI cross-examined. So this was an examination that was happening between Mgomezulu and accused number one. It was an examination, and then he was now comparing it with what MNISI had cross-examined Brigadier Gininda concerning accused number one. So where accused number one confirmed that he was transported in a Golf 7 in the examination in chief with Mgomezulu after interacting with Brigadier Gininda at Diepkloof in the car, and it was Mohola, Ngamani and Mapena. Right? And MNISI said that those matters of arguments, they should not be raised in re-examination. Well, the judge, of course, went against what MNISI's objection was and actually ruled in favor of Baloyi to continue with what he was doing. Guess what? Baloyi found the record where Buthelezi said that he gave accused number one food at Eraton while he took his handcuffs off and he was eating food with his hand, and made Brigadier Gininda read that part. Remember yesterday how the judge was making comments
about food.
Nyakhumbula. Then Advocate Baloyi came in today or yesterday. He came in, he delivered. Hey, the things that were happening in the record. Yeah. Regarding the printing out as well, Baloyi said that MNISI said that there were no photos, while MNISI said that there were no notes accompanying the photos. MNISI highlighted that he was reading Hadebe's testimony when he said to Hadebe that there were no notes. Hadebe referred to the very same document and said that there were pointings out. The judge now said that the pointing out itself, it was corroboration because there were no notes that were taken. And in my opinion, Advocate Baloyi looked puzzled and confused. It was like he was not keeping up with what was happening, right? And the judge said to Gininda, your answer was to the contrary, that there were notes. And you saw notes there. you saw some notes there, right? And Baloyi showed the photos, and the judge now asked Advocate Baloyi, was it not denied that no photos were taken? Baloyi said that he recalls them saying that no photos were attached. Then the judge says the other assertion that was left was that there was no pointings out that were made by accused number 2. In my opinion, I just found this very troubling, totally unprofessional from the judge. I'm like, prosecutor, witness, judge, what is going on? Literally guiding Baloyi on what he needed to dispute with his witness. It was so intrusive. And even Advocate Baloyi seemed to not be keeping up. It was like he was losing his train of thought. He couldn't keep up, in my opinion. So the prosecutor, witness, judge, what is going on? And then Gininda wanted to see if accused number 1 was standing outside the crime scene where he is pointing with his fingers. We, of course, can't see the photos that we're talking about. So MNISI objected and said that he is now concerned that the witness is now leading evidence on matters that did not come from his cross-examination. MNISI said that he never referred the witnesses to the photos. Now, Advocate Baloyi and Gininda were kind of repeating Colonel Hadebe's evidence, what was done and covered with Colonel Hadebe while he was testifying in the re-examination of Brigadier Gininda. I don't even remember Ramasipili bringing up these photos, even in his cross-examination. Right?
Yeah. Guys, please like the video. 428, 481, only 174 likes.
I'm almost done, guys. I'm almost done.
Let me finish up.
And
I'm not going to take calls today. Yeah.
But it's fine. We'll cover over the weekend, guys. Over the weekend, guys, it's a date. Then MNISI said the state is now embarking on trying to clarify issues that never arose in his cross-examination. He said that he only said that in his cross-examination, by virtue of fact that accused number 1 did not voluntarily point those photos that were made to point, and he could not have been pointing out, but he never went through this process. This is new evidence altogether. Probably the state would want to lead further evidence, but he's open to make an application to reopen his case, not through re-examination, and just like it is happening now. So he was imploring from Advocate Baloyi to make an application to introduce new evidence instead of trying to sneak it into this re-examination like this. So Baloyi said that a witness can give viva voce evidence, or he can use photographs to demonstrate his evidence, and that is exactly what this witness was doing. He's just using photos to explain his evidence. Well, the judge said that they can't do that because he never asked that question. Baloyi said that there was preposition that was put yesterday by Advocate MNISI that he never gave Colonel Hadebe the directions that they took him to the place. And the judge asked him to read what was put, and Baloyi said that it was also put to him that he visited the garage and his own inspection local there was done. To the surprise of MNISI, MNISI was shocked. It wasn't the garage, my apologies, the place of the incident. In the inspection local. So Brigadier Gininda, they said at some point he went there on his own. And it was also put to him that there's no content of the pointing out as to what the accused was pointing out. And Baloyi said that they were trying to show the content, and the judge now went to read section 73, defending why Baloyi should continue showing those pictures. MNISI said that the pointing out was not voluntary. Accused was told what to point, and it was not his pointing out, and therefore there's no information that is contained in a pointing by a person who was responsible for the point out that Colonel Hadebe had said. This is what accused number 1 was pointing at, right? And photo number 2, this is what accused number 1 was pointing at. There were no notes that were describing that. All that he said was seeing was photos with no explanation that came from the person that was doing the pointings out. And as it would have been narrated by accused number 1 to say that he was pointing at this place and this is what happened. So he was saying that it's unfair for Brigadier Gininda to now come and give content to what was pointed when he was not involved in the pointing out. So Baloyi said that now Gininda testified and he was at the scene and he can add further context to what was pointed out, given his observation on the scene with knowledge of the case. For a minute there, I thought they were saying that Brigadier Gininda was there during the pointing out and he saw what accused number 1 had pointed out. But no, so basically now it was a setup for Gininda to be the one now doing the pointing out live in court. So the judge clarified that Brigadier Gininda went after the pointing out to go and do his own collaborations after the pointing out. So he said that the question by Baloyi was allowed, So he went now subjected to Brigadier Gininda doing a pointing out in court. We were subjected to that. He was now describing a danger box, a geyser on top of the roof, an Apollo. He confirmed to the crime scene. Baloyi now went to the transparent money bags and asked Gininda as a comment on the photo of the see-through plastic bag with money that he said he found and he downloaded from accused number 3's phone, and as well as Longwe's phone and Kelly Kumalo's phone. With accused number 3, it was downloaded because he got the phone from the Cleveland case. The judge now interrupted Baloyi when he was asking about Sfiso Zungu. The judge now asked if this was Gwabeni. Baloyi asked Gininda if he knew why Sfiso Zungu did not testify in the proceedings, and then Gininda said that during consultation with the state, he indicated that he was fearful for his life. So if he was fearful for his life, was he provided witness protection? MNISI then said that he will perceive that to be new evidence and he will ask to cross-examine based on that aspect. So Baloyi now examined on Section 105A, Mr. Anonymous, the one that you were asking about, the plea bargaining between an accused person and the state. So the judge asked him if that evidence was admissible, and Baloyi said that they were not referring to the content. The judge asked if a person enters a plea bargain and then talks fall off, is it admissible? And Baloyi said MNISI referred to Section 105. The judge asked him to get it on record. He said that he did not hear such evidence because he would have stopped it if MNISI had brought it up, the Section 105. And Baloyi said that he will come back to it, and he proceeded to other stories. So maybe tomorrow he might come back to it. We don't know. So to MNISI and Ramosipili's shock, Baloyi told Gininda to read the evidence about accused number 3's dreadlocks now. Right? MNISI objected, saying that he's not even sure that the extract he was reading was even from the record, and the judge saying that, they are saying you are manufacturing evidence, like I was told I'm colluding. MNISI said that was not what he was saying. Sometimes a person would ask a question based on their notes, and Gininda said that he's reading from the transcript. So MNISI said that the photo that he was pointing was a photo the state handed them 3 weeks ago. He asked the state what they intended to do with the photo, and there was no answer where they got the photo from. So sneaky advocate Baloyi, introducing new evidence in re-examination, right? So Baloyi said that they gave them the photos and explained to them that they are extracts of downloads of Exhibit S, downloads of accused number 2's phone. He said that they told them that they plan to use those photos in re-examination. MNISI said that he never led evidence on those photos. The judge asked Baloyi if they agreed. Baloyi then said that they never got to that point. He said they just accepted the photos and he doesn't remember any objection being raised at that point. He said that they want to re-examine based on those photos and they are allowed to do so. So the judge here sided with advocate Baloyi, saying that they took 2 weeks to download from Sergeant Mabasa and there were about 749 photos. So he remembered that incident where Sergeant Mabasa now had to download about 709 photos, and he was speaking about there was an adjournment. I think I can slightly remember about that incident happening. Now they are saying that they were not aware of these particular photos that Advocate Baloyi wanted to introduce in the re-examination of Brigadier Kininda. He said that Baloyi can lead evidence on those photos, the judge. So Ramasipili said that those photos were given to them only 3 weeks ago, and they did not form part of the original Exhibit S that Sergeant Mabasa even testified on. So Baloyi said that that is what he selected from those photos. He said that they can view them again, and Ramasipili said that he even, for Exhibit S, only a few of them were selected to compile it. He said he asked him what the intention of these photos that he was handing them 3 weeks ago was, and what he is saying is that he told them that he was going to use them for re-examination. It is not the truth. That's what Ramasipili is saying. It's not the truth. He is standing in, and the judge laughed when Ramasipili was saying that what he was saying was not the truth. So he wanted Ramasipili, I don't know how to put it, but Ramasipili put it how he felt it was and how he could see that it was, because now the judge was saying, you are being accused, Leonard colleague, Advocate Baloyi, of lying. Right? And then Advocate Baloyi read the email that he says he sent to them. And he wanted to read it, but then before he could, Malo said that it was new evidence, and Mr. Baloyi had to make a new application to lead new evidence if he wanted to introduce new evidence. Malo agreed with the two counsels, so Advocate MNISI as well as Ramasipili, that he never received such a message from Advocate Baloyi as well, to say that he wanted to introduce these photos in the re-examination with Brigadier Kininda. He even said it's 3 against 1. So Baloyi read the email, and he said that he sent it on the 10th of April. He said that he confirmed, even Ramasipili confirmed that he received the photos via email, but there's no way in this email where it read that he will be using them in re-examination with Brigadier Kininda. So court adjourned. We'll see tomorrow what happens. That's pretty much it from me, guys. It's a wrap.
Allow us to close. We started late. It's 2 already. Some of us still need to travel and drive. Please like the video, share the video. I think we have a date on Friday with the members. Saturday with the members. That's where maybe we can now discuss.
That will be open lines only.
We'll just have open lines and discuss the most important highlights of the week. Just reminder to be there. Shingi, how are you? Siyabonga. Thank you very much, guys, for being here. Thank you to membership, Team Kulu. Today I'm not even gonna call names. Kapsile, hello. Thank you very much for being with us. But see you later, guys. Thank you for reminding people to like, and continue, guys, to like and do watch the adverts. It's not a sin, you're helping us so that we can keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Thank you. To do this toilet. Thank you. I think we have Friday, and then after that we can chill and talk to our members. We appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.